Hey, it's Wayne Wagner from Visionary Wealth Management. We have a number of clients right now who are negotiating with companies to move between companies or between roles within companies. And I thought it'd be helpful to have a conversation about 3 different areas we want our clients thinking about when they're going into a negotiation for a new role. Number 1, make sure that you know all of the different areas or pockets associated with your total compensation structure. So your compensation is not just your base salary and your bonus structure. It's also going to include your cash incentives, long-term incentives, stock options, stock grants, how much the company matches on your 401k, are there any profit sharing contributions to your retirement plans or other pension benefits that you're accumulating with your current company or with the new company. There may also be a company car, other forms of compensation. Make sure that you're negotiating from a position of all of those line items and roles. Not that each one needs to match up, but in the aggregate across the offer between the companies, there needs to be an evaluation that's done to work that out. Last year, we had a client who was moving between companies, and the recruiter was so focused on the 10% increase in base salary that he completely overlooked about a 9% gap in what was being contributed to the 401k and about a 7% gap in the target bonus compensation. That was a real problem. We ended up stepping in and helping negotiate some other things to help make the deal work for the client. The client eventually did take the job, but took the job from a position of strength, having negotiated some other areas. That brings me to number 2. Number 2 would be understand where the areas of the compensation are kind of maybe more set in stone versus a bit more pliable or flexible. So for instance, your target compensation is going to have a high range and low range for what the base salary can be, number 1. Number 2, your bonus target is typically going to be geared towards the role or the title. If you don't like where that target bonus percentage is or the target bonus amount, maybe have a conversation with the hiring manager about what opportunities there may be to reband this role or rework this role once you excel in it, or are there other opportunities to kind of jump up to the next role or band within an organization once you get there and show excellence and proficiency within the first year or 2. So some areas that may be a bit more flexible in the compensation structure would be things like cash up front. We've seen cash up front not be just a one-time thing, but often we'll help a client ask for, hey, take the cash up front, increase the amount you're going to give me, but give me half of it now and half of it 12 months from now. This spreads that increased compensation across a couple of tax years, which is a benefit to the client. There's also typically a 12-month clawback for the company where if you leave during the 12 months after a cash payment like that, you have to pay back some or all of that. So that actually gives the company a benefit by splitting that to say, hey, we're going to give you cash now. If you leave within the first 12 months, you have to pay it back. We're going to give you more cash 12 months from now. And if you have to stay for another 12 months. So the company is really locking you up with a kind of a 2-year golden handcuff instead of a 1-year golden handcuff. And there's benefits to each of you in that scenario. So cash up front's an important one. Long-term incentives. We've had clients say, hey, I have 10,000 stock grants with my current company, but the new company is going to give me 50,000 stocks. Well, but they're not stock shares, they're options. And so the 10,000 shares that you actually have with your current company are actually worth more cash right now than the options you'll be given with the new company. So make sure you're negotiating that and understanding the actual value that's involved from that perspective. The last area I would say would be that many times our clients leave one company before they actually land at another company. So there's been some kind of a transaction or transition with a company where they're a big layoff at one point in time or another. And so our clients end up feeling like they're negotiating from a position of weakness, and that's not always true. So remember that companies are anticipating recruiting someone for this new role, someone that they have to buy out from a similar role at another company. And so they've already mentally lined up a compensation structure that allows them to give cash, give stock, provide coverage for relocation and other expenses that may be affiliated or associated with getting the right person for this role. Just because they're not going to relocate you or just because you're not coming out of another role at the moment doesn't mean those line items are automatically zero. Remember, You will not get 100% of what you don't ask for. And so in a negotiation process, be sure to be knowledgeable, know which pockets are maybe a bit more flexible, and don't be afraid to negotiate from a position of weakness when you're not coming out of another role. There's still pockets of money that are open for negotiation. Here's how I need you to think about this. How you represent yourself in a negotiation for that hire is in part giving that new boss, that new hiring manager, a window into how you're going to work and work for and represent that company. You're going to add value to this organization by bringing the same level of professionalism, same level of directness to every discussion and every opportunity on behalf of the company as how you're representing yourself today in this negotiation. So don't be afraid to put your best foot forward and be a bit more direct and ask for a bit more. Here at Visionary Wealth Management, we're always here with perspective for the decisions ahead. I hope these rules have been helpful for you. If we can help in a current or pending negotiation on your behalf, don't be afraid to reach out to have a discussion.